Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to create a AWS Lambda functions, and using the Lambda functions how to fetch the items that are available in DynamoDB tables. Once you successfully logged in into AWS, first click on the services and search for Lambda. So click on the Lambda. So click on the create a function. So it is asking us to select the blueprint. So actually these blueprints are the sample configuration for event sources and the Lambda functions. So I'm going with the default blueprint, that is nothing but hello world. So click on this hello world blueprint and click on the next and just give the name of our AWS Lambda function. So name of our AWS Lambda function is myemp, and description whatever you want, you can provide the description, and I'm going with the default description and select the runtime. So default is a Node.js. If you want, you can go with Java or the Python. So I'm going with Node.js as my runtime to run a Lambda function. Okay, so this is a simple code. So you don't want bother about this code. Come down and Lambda function handler and the role. So here we have to provide the what is the exact input to your Lambda functions. Okay, so where your Lambda functions is running, we have to provide that information in the handlers. So by default this handlers like index.handler is nothing but there is a handler function which is available in index.js. So that is nothing but this index.handler represents that. So inside the index.js there is a handler function. So if you want to go with this default JS and the functions, you can go, or otherwise if you don't want to go, just provide your own JS file and the functions. So I'm going with my own JS files and the functions. So emp is my JS file name, and inside this emp.js file I'm going to have one function, get items. Okay, so next a role. So what this role defines? So this role defines the permissions of your functions. So what permissions you have means this Lambda functions has. So I'm going to create a new role, so that actually that roles defines the this Lambda functions have permissions to access my DynamoDB or to access my RDS. So let's go ahead and create a new role. So already some existing roles are already available, so I don't want to use these roles. I'll go ahead and create a new role for my Lambda functions. So open a new tab and here click on the services and search for IAM role. So click on this IAM. So click on the roles. So these are the roles that I have already created, so I don't want to reuse these roles, so I will go ahead and create a new role. So click on the create a new role button, and Amazon EC2, I don't want to use Amazon EC2, just come down. So AWS Lambda, just select this. So we have to attach a policy. What this policy tells? So this policy tells you are going to access what? So as a Lambda functions, I'm going to access my Dynamo database. Okay, inside the database, what tables you are going to access? Okay, so those informations this policy holds. So what is the table name and what permissions you have? You have only read only permissions or write only permissions, or you have permissions to only create a table, or you have a permissions to get the items only, or you have permissions to update the items that are available in DynamoDB table. So those informations this policy holds. So I'm going with a default policy. So that policy is Amazon, like search for Dynamo. So Amazon DynamoDB full access means, so I'm going to give the permissions to my Lambda function to access anything you want, you can do. So the type of access I'm going to provide to my Lambda functions. So select this and click on the next step. So give the role name. Okay, my emp acc is my role name. Just click on the create role finally. So my emp acc role has been created. Just go back to your Lambda function and search for your role. So click on the choose existing role again and come down. So it is not populating here, so because of like sometimes it may not populate. So what you do is you have to refresh your page. So after refreshing, I am selecting the existing role and my emp access now it's populating in the drop down. So select this and click on the next, and this is a verification page, and my Lambda function name is my emp, and this is a description, and Node.js is my runtime, and this emp.getItems is the handlers, and my emp access is the role. And so these are the advanced settings. You don't need to worry about these settings, just go with all these default values, and finally click on the create a function. So your Lambda function has been successfully created and the function name is my emp. So let's go ahead and try to execute your function, I mean test your function. So click on the text. So this is the input event, I mean input test event. So we have to provide some inputs to your Lambda functions. So that's why it is asking us to provide your inputs to your event. So I'm going with the default values. So click on the save and test. So actually it is failing. Why? Because, so first click on this details. So handler get items missing on module emp. So what is our module name? Our module name is a emp, and get items is actually our function name, right? So copy this get items and come down, and here exports dot handler. This handler is actually a function, but you have defined get items, so that get items function is not available in a emp.js file. Okay, just replace this handler.js by get items, then save it and click on the test again. So click on the details. So we are getting the value 1, and value 1 equal to value 1, value 2, value 3. So come down. So callback null event 1 dot key 1, it returns the value 1. So our Lambda function is working fine. Now we have to make a changes in our code to work, I means to get the items that are available in a DynamoDB tables. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Amazon Web Service software development kit, that is nothing but AWS SDK, to get actually a DynamoDB instance and the client of DynamoDB. So let's go ahead and do the code where AWS equal to, so AWS SDK request here, so use a require command. What you want to require? AWS SDK. Okay, so from AWS SDK, first we have to get the DynamoDB, and from the DynamoDB instance you have to get the client of DynamoDB. So how to get? Using new AWS dot DynamoDB. So I'm getting the DynamoDB instance, and from that get the client document client. That's it. Then assign it to a variable where dClient equal to. Okay, now we are getting the document client. So now what we have to do is, using this client, we have to send a request to your DynamoDB by passing the table name and primary key of your table name. Okay, So exports dot get items. So I don't want to use this exports here itself. Where get items. Okay, it's better to remove this entire this code, and we'll do the code freshly. Okay, now where our function name is get items, right? Get items equal to, so using the arrow function, it has a 3 parameters. One is a event and context, another one is a callback. Okay, now this is the arrow function syntax. From in this function, so using the document client, I means Amazon DB document client, we have to send a request to DynamoDB tables. So how? D client dot, so to get the items we should use the get function on document client. So doc client dot get input. So input, actually this is actually is a variable, so it holds the information about your table. What is your table name and what is the primary key of your table name. Okay, and the second parameter is a callback function. Okay, so it has a 2 parameters. One is the error and the data. Okay, so if any error occurs, then use the callback to send the error data. Okay, and the null, and just give the user defined message error occurred. So else, again callback function and null comma data. So we have provided almost all the information that's required for getting the items that are available in our DynamoDB. So one pending thing here is we don't know. So just if you look at this error, input is not defined. So actually this this function don't know what is this input. So we have to tell what is this input. So create a variable input. As I told, this input holds the information about a table. So it is an object literal, and it has a 2 attributes. One is a table name, and my table name is emp, and another attribute name is key. It is again a object literal. So key is a combination of one or more the attributes. So in my EEMP table, I'm maintaining only a one column as my primary key. So what is that primary key? ID is my primary key, and just give the value. So my table name is the EEMP, and the key is a combination of multiple columns. So I have only a one column as my primary key, that is nothing but the ID, and currently it has a one value 1 or 2. So just to go back to your new tab and search for DynamoDB. So click on this DynamoDB. So click on the tables. It has a EEMP table, and click on this items and click on this item, and see, if you look at this ID is the number 1 or 2. This is actually the primary key. Okay, so just go back to your Lambda function and save this and test it. So our execution result failed. Just expand this. So handler get items missing on module EMP. So actually we have created a function, but we forget to export that function. Just go back to your code and using the exports command, exports dot get items equal to get items. So it's better to copy this. Copy exports dot get items and 8 items. Okay, and click on the save and test. So execution result success. Click on these details. How? So we are getting the details, I means items that are available in a DynamoDB tables. So with ID 102, address is this one, and name is Ashok, and pin code is something. So let's go ahead and change the ID value. Just use it to 101, and again click on the save and test. So expand these details. Okay, even for this ID also we are getting the items. So name is this one and the ID 101. So actually if you look at the score, we are hard coding this input values, right? So actually we should not hard code these values here. So instead of keeping this input data here, so let me copy this, Control X. Okay, so I have to get this input details from my event dot input. So instead of using input, just use the params. So where this actual input is coming, so this input details, these events are coming actually from the this client. So actually we don't have any client to test this one, so I'm going to provide this event inside actions configure test event. Okay, so just remove entire this and copy this and means paste this. Okay, and this is actually a params, that's it. So put it in double quotes, and as well as all this table name as well, and key as well. Okay, let's go ahead and click on the save and test. So click on these details, how we are getting the items details. So let's go ahead again, change the value of ID to 102 here, and again click on the save and test and expand these details, how we are getting the details. So this is how you have to get the items that are available in a DynamoDB tables using the Lambda functions. Thank you, and thanks for watching this video.